Hello guys, welcome to a very special episode of the Marigold Standard. As you can see, we are backstage at First Dream 2026. You can hear them just running through some of the theme songs. Matt, it is a very special day. Obviously, we have been granted press access by Marigold. Thank you to Marigold for that, but also because we are about to witness what could well be one of the shows of Wrestle Kingdom week.
Yeah, which is saying something considering the fact that we have Wrestle Kingdom, we already saw Dream Queendom, obviously Tokyo Joshi Pro coming up here on the 4th as well. We saw some great shows, but this one, from start to finish, could be the best show of the entire Wrestle Kingdom weekend. We have 4 championship matches on the line today, buddy, and most importantly, in my opinion, the rematch. 5 years in the making for the GHC Joshi Championship. Mayu Iwatani taking on Takumi Roha for the first time in over 5 years, my friend.
Yeah, we'll get onto those title matches in a minute. Obviously, at the moment, you can hear Koki Amare's theme. Koki Amare making her return after injuring her shoulder, fracturing her clavicle at, I believe it was Yushi Pro Wrestling, 27th of September. So it's great to see her. Great to see Natsumi Shozuki making her return as well. Hasn't wrestled since the 17th of June, so great to see her back in the ring. They're going to be teaming against Hummingbird. Unfortunately, no Minami Yuki, who of course sustained a knee injury. She's out of the show, but she has been replaced by Momoka Hanazono, who of course is absolutely fantastic. Matt, great to see both Koki and Natsumi Shozuki back.
Yeah, absolutely. We got not one but 2 returns, as you mentioned before. Koki Amare, obviously the first GHC Joshi champion, and as well as Natsumi Shozuki, the first ever Marigold Superfly champion. So they're both making their return today, Rob Goodwin, and again, 2 great multi-person tag matches. We did make mention before, my friend, about 4 championship matches on the line today. However, the person, in my opinion, that may have the most pressure on them is one Chika Goto. Chika Goto is wrestling one of the best wrestlers on the planet, regardless of gender, and one Utami Hayashishita. Obviously, it's a big match for Utami, trying to get back in the win column since losing the World of Marigold Championship back to Miko Ano, back at Grand Destiny. So this is a must-win match, not only for Utami to get back in that title picture, but a must-win match for Go Chika, who's somebody that is everly improving here on the Marigold roster, Rob.
Yeah, certainly one of the most improved wrestlers, I believe, in Marigold this year, and in Joshi as well. I think it's important for her to put in a good performance now. I'd argue that the performance probably matters more than the result. I think a result is huge against Utami, but when you consider she couldn't quite get a title shot against Miko Ano over the line, I think that a big performance here against a former Marigold World Champion. Obviously, we saw her at Grand Destiny take on Sari, put on a great performance there. I disagree. I think the most pressure on this entire show is Megaton. Because don't forget, we have Megaton taking on Popular K. Now, obviously, Fua has been on Twitter stoking the fire that it might be Kairi. Don't think it's Kairi. Would love it to be Kairi. Don't think it is. Obviously, we've both come up with predictions, varying levels of whether they are going to happen. But Matt, obviously, Megaton versus Popular K. Obviously, last time Megaton had a mystery opponent, turned out to be the murder grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki. Do you think that we are likely to see another hard hitter from the male division, or do you think that we are likely to see another Joshi pro wrestler?
Well, I did make mention when I did the preview on the Marigold Standard, which is on the feed, that it could be one Jungle Kiona. That is my official prediction. However, Rob, if we were going back to kind of what happened with Megaton versus Minoru Suzuki, a shoot-style wrestler, is Popular K Kenta? Is it Katsuyori Shibata? Or Rob, here's a new one for you that I know is going to make you laugh and everybody else laugh, and everybody other than Megaton laugh. What is Kazuchi Sakuraba, the Gracie Hunter himself? Will he be in the building in Ota-Ward? I've got only one way to find out. If you're not in Tokyo, if you're not in Ota-Ward, go to Wrestle Universe, order the pay-per-view. I believe it's only about $20. Well worth your money. One of the most anticipated shows of all year. And again, considering the fact this is only January 3rd, this is going to be one of the best wrestling shows you'll see all in 2026. I can guarantee you that.
So before we get into the 4 title matches, obviously the one match we haven't talked about really is the Marigold Youth 6-woman tag, which is obviously going to be a tremendous match. The likes of Seri Yamaoka, Kazuna Tanaka, Yuki Yamazaki, 15-year-old Coco, who has been a revelation in Marigold since she debuted. I think she's done some absolutely fantastic work. That match against Mayu for the Superfly Championship was tremendous. Obviously, we now know that, as I mentioned, Minami Yuki will not be in the match above. We have a full playing field there. Very much the way to open this show.
Yeah, I always say you want to start off a show with a hot opener, and that is the definition of a hot opener. It needs to be a great way to start that show with that youth 6-person tag. Rob Good, what a great way to end the show. Maybe the best built matchup of this entire Wrestle Kingdom weekend is Miko Ano takes on Mai Sakurai, a rematch 1 year in the making. Last year in the semi-main event, those two had one of the best matches of the year in all of wrestling. Last year, it was for the United National Championship, the second biggest belt here in Marigold. But today, the stakes are higher, not only in the main event, it is now for Miko Ano's World of Marigold Championship. And we've seen these preview tag matches over the last 5 or 6 weeks. And if that is any indication what we're in store for today, my friend, it looks like Christmas has come late for us fans, or early, depending on your outlook in life.
So, looking at those 4 title matches then, let's start with the Marigold Twin Star title. Darkness Revolution, all Darkness Revolution affair, obviously. Misa Matsui and Chiaki holding the belts at the moment. Chiaki, not a happy memory of this place. Obviously, her and Nagisa Nozaki dropped the belts last year at First Dream 2025 to Bozilla and a debuting Tank the Iron Woman. So, do you think that, I mean, we haven't seen a lot of Darkness Revolution on Darkness Revolution action. What are your hopes for this match? And more importantly, what is your prediction? Do Misa Matsui and Chiaki leave Ota-Ward as your Twin Star champions?
To answer your question, my prediction is yes. I think Misa and Chiaki will win. However, I would not be shocked if it does go the other way with Nagisa Nozaki and Rhea Sato taking those Twin Star Tag Team Championships. But it is Darkness Revolution versus Darkness Revolution. So you know who has the hardest job? The referee. Absolutely, the referee. I do not envy whoever that referee is, because there's going to be a lot of offbeat shenanigans, but I think that is a match that can absolutely steal the show, which is saying something when we have this loaded card coming up from us here in just a few hours' time, my friend.
So moving on to the United National Championship then, and this one for me is a very interesting one. We've talked a little bit about this. Victoria Yuzuki potentially the wrestler of the year in Marigold. She had an absolutely phenomenal year. Arguably should have been the Tokyo Joshi Rookie of the Year.
Had my vote and your vote.
Had our votes. Not that that counts for anything whatsoever, but there we are. She is wrestling Shoko Kishino, the former Flying Penguin, who is something of an unknown quantity. We've seen her have the odd singles match in Marigold, mostly under the guise of Flying Penguin. It is, or it feels very much like a sink or swim sort of situation for the challenger here.
Yeah, I did make mention of Chika Goto might have the most pressure on her, maybe Shoko Kishino, because she's given a great opportunity to wrestle one of the best wrestlers. Really, in all of Joshi, in my opinion, the Marigold Wrestler of the Year in 2025, which is saying something. One, Victoria Yuzuki, she's given a great opportunity here. Can she get maybe the biggest upset in her career, getting a win over Victoria Yuzuki, my friend? We're about to find out, but she does have a tall task ahead of her, because there might not be any hotter wrestler on the planet than one United National Champion and one Victoria Yuzuki.
Yeah, I don't see Victoria Yuzuki dropping the belt here. I'd be very, very surprised if Shoko Kishino can get the belt off Victoria Yuzuki. However, a big performance for the former Flying Penguin could be huge in her development in Marigold throughout the year. Obviously, really quite apt, Mayu Iwatani's theme.
We got really good timing, buddy.
We've got fantastic timing. Mayu Iwatani versus Takumi Iroha, the dream match 5 years in the making. Obviously, a huge match, Mayu Iwatani versus Takumi Iroha for that GHC Women's Championship. Both women have got fairly good records in Ota-Ward City General Gymnasium. But Takumi Iroha's singles record is absolutely astounding. 12-0-1 in 2025. Of course, that one draw coming against Utami and Marigold. Hasn't lost a match on Japanese soil since October 2023. A singles match, that is. Has only lost once, including 2024, which was, I believe, in San Francisco for West Coast Pro. So a formidable opponent. We've seen what Takumi Iroha is able to do. as a boat goes past, apparently.
A lot of bass.
We've seen what Takumi Iroha is able to do with the likes of Utami, Shiori, and Mayu back in 2020, that match at the Way to Major League. Huge test for Mayu, huge test. Do you think she dethrones Takumi Iroha, becoming the first person? Admittedly, the GHC Women's Championship is in its infancy. The first person to hold both that and the IWGP Women's Championship.
Taylor, of all these great shows that we're so blessed to be able to watch and talk about this entire Wrestle Kingdom weekend as we're dubbing it, this is the hardest one for me to predict. I can see this Takumi win. I can see a Mayu win. I can see this going the 60-minute time limit drop. Boy, howdy, wouldn't treat that one.
That will be a draw.
However, my prediction, and I'm betting maybe $1 American on this, and it's a pour over here for you, Adi. I'm going to say Mayu takes this. I think Mayu's on an absolute roll right now. I think this is going to be a big show for her and a big match with Takumi Iroha. And I will say this as well, my friend. You go back and watch those 2 great matches that they had with Mayu versus Takumi Iroha back in Stardom, back in 2020. As great as those matches were, in my opinion, Takumi Iroha is a better wrestler now than she was 5 years ago, and Mayu is a better wrestler now than 5 years ago. And those are 2 of the best matches in all of wrestling in the year 2020. So what is going to happen today? We're going to see history, an absolute treat for all of you Puro Joshi wrestling fans.
It's a big match for Mayu. We know that Mayu is capable of absorbing a hellish amount of punishment, but can Takumi Iroha capitalise, and can she sort of speedily get through Mayu's defences? Because I feel like the longer it goes, the more the match will suit Mayu, because Mayu is able to draw these ungodly levels of resilience from absolutely nowhere. So
she's our generation's Bret Hart. Again, showing my age here, was the wrestler that the longer of the beating he took, he was able to wear out opponents. We've seen Mayu, all those great championship runs, whether she was a Wonder Champion, World of Stardom Champion, obviously the IWGP run is absolutely legendary. One thing else, too, you have to factor in this is Takumi Iroha is in enemy territory. I know she's a marvelous wrestler. She's the Noah Joshi champion, but this is a Marigold show. So this is going to be enemy territory. In a home game, almost for one, Mayu Iwatani.
Very good record in Marigold. Takumi Iroha, though, as Marvelous have in general, so that's going to be very exciting. Again, incredibly bassy. Final match to talk about then, and you've already talked a little bit about it, the Marigold World Championship match. Miko Ueno versus Mai Sakurai, running back their match from First Dream 2025. A lot of history between these 2 women. Obviously, Mai Sakurai took the belt off Miko Ueno, the United National title, at last year's show in this very venue, which is Miko Ueno's only singles match in this venue, by the way. Mai Sakurai, of course, was stopped at the very last hurdle, getting through to her 2nd consecutive Dreamstar final by Miko Ueno, who of course would then go on to win the tournament, will go on to dethrone Utami Hayashishita to become Marigold World Champion. There's a lot going on here, and Miko Ueno yet to defend the belt. It's the first time that the belt is main eventing a pay-per-view since this time last year. Big moment for Miko Ueno as well, to step out in the main event as the face of this company. You know, again, it's fully earned, fully deserved. She's absolutely tremendous. What have these 2 women got in store for us? Because those preview matches from arguably all the way through from November onwards have been brutal. So I do wonder, what have they got in store for us in this main event
It's
today?
a great question, my friend. I don't have the answer. Only the 2 of them have the answer. And we're going to find out in just a few hours' time. That is for sure. And Rob, you know this from watching sports, and playing sports your whole life. Momentum is a big thing when it comes to any sport, whether it's soccer, football, tennis, table hockey, darts. Momentum is a big thing.
Table hockey,
ice hockey, bowling, whatever you want, fishing, whatever sport you want to do. Momentum.
The momentum in fishing.
Full contact Connect 4. Shout out for the old Forge kids back home. Anyway, these 2 wrestlers may have the most momentum in all of Marigold, because if you look at Miko Ueno's year, defeated Nanae Takahashi in her retirement match, won the Dream Star, defeated Utami Hayashishita to win the World of Marigold Red Belt. However, Mai Sakurai defeating Miko Ueno, and we mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it again, defeating Miko Ueno a year to this day to win the United National Championship. And you just mentioned a minute ago, partner, that it was Miko Ueno and Mai Sakurai in the semifinals of the, well, not the semifinals, but basically
The block
of the block finals, yes, to go to the Dream Star. It went to a time limit draw. So Miko Wano did not defeat Mai Sakurai. And Mai Sakurai, the last preview tag match that we saw about 2 weeks ago, forced Miko Wano to pass out via the STF. So again, even though Miko Wano probably has the bigger significant wins this year, Mai Sakurai has a lot of big wins over Miko Wano this year. And this is a tough one for me to predict, but I just think Miko Wano has fought so hard, so long to get to that championship. I don't think she's going to lose it here to Mai Sakurai. Could I be wrong? Sure. Could we see Mai Sakurai walk out of this venue with the red belt? It's a very good possibility. My prediction, Miko Wano will retain here tonight.
I'd be very surprised if we are not talking about Miko Wano's first successful title defense. However, it's certainly not going to be a walk in the park. Mai Sakurai has won all 3 of her singles matches in Ota-Ward. Miko Wano, again, the only singles match she's had in this venue was a loss to Mai Sakurai. Mai Sakurai knows what it takes to win titles in this building. The Artist of Stardom Championship and the United National Championship here in Marigold. It's going to be an exciting show. Again, as Matt mentioned, if you can't be here in Tokyo to watch it live, go to Wrestle Universe, purchase it on pay-per-view. It is going to be an incredibly exciting match. 2:30 Japanese Standard Time for your bell time. We hope to see you there. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys soon.
See you at the matches.